أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, inshallah, we'll be talking about some introduction to Hajj, and then we'll have a series of three more videos, inshallah. So first we need to understand the significance of Hajj, because Hajj, the pilgrimage, is the fifth pillar of Islam. The literal meaning of the word is to make an intention or to go somewhere by making an intention of going there. As an Islamic terminology, it is to visit the Kaaba, the house of Allah, and to perform specific acts of worship in a fixed period of time. So there are a lot to it, but inshallah I'll try to make it short, and we don't have to be very much afraid of performing Hajj. Inshallah everything will be all right, and there'll be some experience that inshallah some spiritual, and we'll feel it as soon as we are done with the Hajj. So inshallah let's so this video is about Hajj introduction. So I'm going to talk about the basics of Hajj and what it requires, what exactly you should be taking and all that. And the part 2, there's going to be another video that'll be talking about Umrah step by step, and what are the farais, wajibat, sunan, and mustahabat, the recommended stuff of Umrah. And then part 3 is Hajj step by step, and part 4 is about visiting the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam in the blessed city, pure city, that's called al-Madinatul Munawwara, inshallah ta'ala. So let's talk about Hajj. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given some warning through our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, because whatever the Prophet says is nothing but the wahi, is the revelation of Allah subhanahu, that revelation that comes to Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. And we'll talk about that one, and excellence of Hajj, and Hajj al-Mabrur, inshallah, the fazail of Hajj, and the preparation for Hajj, aspects of preparation, and what to take. Some Hajj packages, we'll talk about that one. Those who are going Makkah first from Jeddah, or the one who are coming from Madinatul Munawwara first. The geography of Hajj Umrah, we'll talk about the Mawaqeet, the limitation, we'll talk about it, and Haram of Makkah, Hajj and Umrah related definition, inshallah we'll talk about that, kinds of Hajj, and Hajj and Umrah for women, general principle, inshallah we'll be talking about that. And the journey, day of departure, arrival in Jeddah or in Madinatul Munawwara. Basic information. One of the good book that I found is from Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad al-Qadir. There are so many books that are available, but that talks very much in detail in a very simple English, and a very comprehensive guide, and it is from Quran and the tradition of our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. So it's worth having this book, and there are so many books, inshallah. And let's talk about the warning, those who do not perform despite having all the facilities. And Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, which is narrated by Sayyidina Ali ibn Murtada Karramallahu Wajhul Kareem, that Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever has the provisions and the means to convey him to Allah's house, means Kaabatullah, and he does not perform Hajj, then it does not matter if he dies as a Jew or a Christian. That is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in his holy book, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Allahu Akbar. And Hajj to the house is a duty that mankind owes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for whomever is able to bear the journey. Allahu Akbar. So Allah subhanahu, this is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's what our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is relaying to us, which is recorded by Imam Bukhari and Muslim. Let's talk about the fadail of the Hajj, excellences. One of the best deeds in Islam, which is the fifth pillar of Islam, and there are two ahadith in this regard. One is narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that the Prophet ﷺ was asked, which deed is the best? He ﷺ replied, faith in Allah and His Messenger. Then he was asked, what is next? He replied, jihad in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he was asked, what is after that? He replied, Hajj al-Mabrur, Hajj Umra, Allahu Akbar. And another hadith which is recorded by Imam Bukhari from Sittana Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala anha, the mother of the believers, reported that she said, O Messenger of Allah, we consider jihad as the best deed. Should we not fight in Allah's cause? He, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, says that La kunna afdalul jihadi hajjum mabrur. Allahu Akbar. For you, means women, the best jihad is Hajj Mabrur. Allah. And this is the expiation, means kafara to zunub, the expiation of sins and ultimate rewards. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrated that the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, whoever performs Hajj and does not commit any obscenity nor commit any evil will return as sinless as a newborn child. Subhanallah. Means if we follow all the rulings of Hajj and respect the Hajj and each and every step that we are starting from our house till we are coming back to our place. Allahu Akbar. So make sure we are not committing any type of obscenity or crime or evil through our tongue or hands or feet or anything. Subhanallah. And the other one, hadith which is recorded by Imam al-Bukhari or Muslim, which is narrated by Sayyidina Abi Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, Umrah is an expiation for the sins committed between it and the previous Umrah. The reward of Hajj Mabrur, Allahu Akbar, that is, one accepted, is nothing but Jannah. Subhanallah. Now, charity that chases away poverty. Allahu Akbar. It is recorded by Imam Ibn Abi Shayba, the teacher of the Bukhari, or Imam Ahmad, also a teacher of Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, both of them, but Tabarani wal Bayhaqi, and this is a sound hadith that the Burayda radiallahu ta'ala anhu reported that Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, spending in Hajj is akin to spending in the cause of Allah. A dirham that does spend is rewarded 700 times over. Allahu Akbar. And another hadith which is recorded by Imam Nasai and Imam Tirmidhi from Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala anhu, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, that the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, alternate Hajj and Umrah, alternate between Hajj and Umrah, for they remove poverty and obliterate sins, just as the blacksmith bellows removes all impurities from metals like iron, gold, and silver. The reward for Hajj Mabrur is nothing short of paradise. Subhanallah. Protected guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means another hadith. There are a lot of hadiths which I'm going to mention, very few of them here. That Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu reported that Sayyidina Mawlana Habibina wa Shafi'ina Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, three are under the guaranteed protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the exalted, the most high. A man who sets out to a masjid of Allah, a man who sets out in the cause of Allah, and a man who sets out for Hajj. Subhanallah. Another hadith, it's reported by Sayyidina Abu Hurairah also. Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam says, those performing Hajj and those performing Umrah are the guests of Allah. Subhanallah. Subhanallah, beautiful Rahman. He answers their prayers when they supplicate to him, and he forgives them when they ask his forgiveness. Subhanallah. And it is Hajj is the freedom from hellfire. Sayyidina Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha, the blessed mother of the believers, reported that the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, there is no day when Allah sets free more servants from hellfire than the day of Arafah. He draws near, then praises them to the angels, saying, what do these seek? Allah. And let's talk about the goal. Hajj Mabrur means an accepted Hajj. That's what the meaning is. Hajj performed with the intention of seeking Allah's pleasure, a complete sincerity, and not to show off, just for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. A Hajj performed in accordance to the Sunnah of the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Although it is very, very challenging, but try to perform as our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has performed. Allahu Akbar. A Hajj free of sin, that is conducted with full obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A Hajj with righteous deeds benefiting others. Subhanallah. Sayyidina Jabir radiallahu ta'ala anhu reported that the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam says that the accepted Hajj has no reward except Jannah. Then sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam was asked, what makes a Hajj to be Mabrur, means highly accepted? Allah Akbar. He, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, providing food to people and spreading good word. Allah Akbar. A Hajj that is not followed by disobedience. Make sure we are not hurting anyone with our tongue or with our hands or in any manner. Allah Akbar. Sayyidina Imam al-Hasan al-Basri radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, al-Hajj al-Mabrur is to return abstinent from this world, desiring the hereafter. This is what the goal is. Simple as that. Preparation for Hajj. Fulfilling reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make sure we are following, and we should know the true meaning of tawakkul, that is reliance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to have full trust in Allah while exhausting all possible means. That's what happened during the Hajj. So always have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and tawakkul. Preparation for Hajj fulfills part of this meaning of tawakkul, means reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, exhausting all means at one's disposition. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that al-Hajj ashhurun ma'lumat faman farada fihinna hajja fala rafasa wala fusuqa wala jidala fil hajj wama taf'alu min khairin ya'lamuhu Allah وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى واتقوني يا أولي الألباب. Subhanallah. Hajj is during a well-known month. So whoever undertakes therein the duty of Hajj, there is to be for him, Allahu Akbar, no sexual relations and no disobedience and no disputing during Hajj, and whatever good you do, Allah knows it, and take provisions, Allahu Akbar, for the journey. For verily the best provision is abstainment from asking others, and fear me, O men of understanding. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu says that people used to perform Hajj and not bring provision with them. Sayyidina Abu Masud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said the inhabitants of Yemen or people of Yemen used to perform Hajj and not bringing provisions with them. They would declare, we put our trust in Allah. So Allah Most High sat down. But He said, and bring means وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ زَادِ التَّقْوَى, Allahu Akbar, and bring provisions. But the best provision is piety. So we should bring whatever is needed for Hajj. This is recorded by Imam Bukhari, Imam Nasai, and Sunan Abi Dawud. Climate of Makkah and Medina is just climate which is 90, like in August. This is an estimated one. It can go, it can fluctuate. Means 96 Fahrenheit to 108 and to 85. The lowest, the minimum temperature would be 85. So make sure we have some good clothing, which I'm going to be talking in a second. And in the month, in general, Medina's climate is continental, not hot, not dry. It is hot and dry, but it's just very beautiful. So I don't want to mention anything, but these are going to be estimated climate. But the Subhanallah, the air and the land of Medina is the best. Subhanallah. Let's talk about what to take. Take pocket mushaf or phone, Quran. Then we should be reciting Quran as much as possible. And this is one of the recommended book that I found to be good. And tawaf sa'i beads that we can find in Madinatul Munawwara or in Makkah Mukarramah, just to remember which shout or which circuit we are on while this is a good thing, inshallah. And some notepad and pen, make sure note down what is needed. Sometimes we forget things, so just note it down just for that one. And a prayer mat and some healthcare items like some prescribed medications, pack OTC medication like cough, cold, flu, diarrhea, fever, headache, sore throat. These are the things. Just this is needed, and prescription reading glasses, those who wear, and bandages. It is good. These are all recommended. And the face mask, but it's not permissible during the ihram, in the state of ihram. And also this one, nasal filters, okay in ihram. It's not needed but recommend. And a toiletry kit, I believe you all understand what is needed, like as you can see the picture, and scissors and comb, nail clipper. And this is one needed sometimes, although I have taken this, but I have given to someone who is in need of using these bags sometimes, like especially in Muzdalifah, there is a long lines for the bathrooms, and not too long, but the old people, they cannot hold it, so they can discharge into these boxes. And some unscented baby wipes. The clothing, comfortable and modest clothes like Indo-Pak, Shalwar, Khamis, and the Middle Eastern Sobe are ideal and are recommended for men. Like here we see these are the ones which is good based on the climate. It is ideal for that in that period. And the women should wear their normal comfortable clothes. Avoid nylon clothing as it tends to be uncomfortable in the hot weather. Warm jackets, especially for Madinah at Fajr time during cold month. Just a recommendation. Take enough undergarments like underwear and undershirts for the trip. This is one of the things. If you are sensitive to air conditioning, consider covering yourself when you get into air conditions like masajid or airplane or buildings. Wear light hooded thobes like this one, and or use shimaq like cover your head but not in the state of ihram. Just I'm talking in general. Choose a spot in Mina, Arafat, and not directly facing the fan or AC vents. Stay outside of the tent as much as possible. That's what I was practicing. Use masking tape to block the AC vents above you in the bus if they can be closed. There are some like they can be closed, so this can be blocked from this. Footwear, flip-flop sandals like this one, and other footwear as needed. Choose the shoes, sandals you feel comfortable with, like this one. Use clean sandals or toe shoes when inside the masjid and when performing tawaf or sa'i, which is permissible, but not during the Umrah when you are in the state of ihram. Do not use this one. Anyway, you will be in a state of ihram when performing Umrah, Tawaf, and Sa'i. You will not be in the state of ihram when performing Tawaf al-Wada, farewell Tawaf, or Tawaf al-Nawafil, like just a recommended one. As for Tawaf al-Ifada, in most cases you will not be in a state of ihram unless you start with the Tawaf before Rami and Hir. Inshallah we'll be talking about that. Ihram cloths, this is the towels and travel Hajj belt that is good, that can support that can have a good support for the ihram. And these are the comfortable slippers and safety pins to secure ihram towels. You can use this, and this is very important. Unscented petroleum jelly apply between the thighs to prevent chafing and skin rash while in ihram, because there will be a lot of walk, and when we talk sometimes thighs get when they are together, that can cause some skin rash while walking, so it's better to apply to the thighs inside. That helps a lot. So make sure we have this one original with the unscented one. And here sunglasses and folding umbrella, we can get it from there. Eye shades for sleeping but not in the state of ihram. Earplugs, backpack from Medina and Arafat. These are just general information. And drawstring backpack to carry sandals and other items when we are in Makkah or Madinah al-Munawwarah. We can put our, especially when we are making tawaf and sa'i, we can have this one. Travel neck wallet, especially for our sisters, and a microfiber travel towel. Takes much less space than ordinary, which is good. Compact flashlight for Muzdalifah. It is not highly recommended, but it's better to keep it. And a pocket knife to cut the fruits. A small drawstring bag for pebbles. Then this will be used in Muzdalifah when we are collecting the pebbles for Jamarat. Masking tape for AC vents, and colored pack tapes to mark your luggage and passport, just for further reference. Let's talk about some communication. Cell phones can make communication much easier while in Makkah, Madinah al-Munawwarah, Mina, especially if traveling with the relatives, so we can have communication with them where they are. It is very easy to get lost. So this way we can keep the communication, because there will be almost 3 to 4 million people come. So it's very easy to lose each other. Cell phone requirements. Let's talk about a little bit of this. GSM, SIM unlocked. These are the stuff, we can buy the SIM from there, and don't buy from anyone. Just go to the shop or the stores. Not buy from any. Do not buy from the individuals. And there are some companies like STC, Mobily, and Zain. You buy a SIM card, Saudi Telecom, Mobily, Zain, Sawa from Saudi Arabia. Just we can change the SIM. Never buy anything from airport workers. Though I just mentioned, buy your SIM card from either a mobile handset seller or from some pharmacies or money exchanger. Don't buy from anyone beside these. Make sure your phone is in silent vibration mode while in the masjid. Most of the people, they leave it on and they disturb others. Okay, let's talk about some Hajj packages, conditions for Hajj, performing Hajj, time of Hajj, and packages, those who are coming to Makkah first or going to Madinah al-Munawwarah. Excuse me. And condition for performing Hajj. Number one is being Muslim. The Hajj is not obligatory on disbelievers. This has to be a Mu'min Muslim. If one is living in non-Muslim lands, then having knowledge that the Hajj is one of the pillars of Islam. Being over the age of puberty, it is not obligatory on children. So person has to be in the age of puberty. The person has to be sane. If someone is insane, then they are excused from its obligation. Being free means it's not obligatory upon a slave. This type of situation is gone. Being physically able, that is, one should have the ability to perform the Hajj. A person who is blind, disabled, suffering from a stroke, or is old and frail and unable to travel alone is not obligated to perform it. Subhanallah. But they can perform with the help of others. One must have the finances required to make the journey. And being physically fit. For women, if journey to Makkah takes 3 or more days, then it will not be permissible for her to undertake the journey unless accompanied by her husband or mahram. On those who are over, I believe 50, government is allowing them to come. The mahram is any person who a woman is not permitted to get married to on a permanent basis. The relationship is either through one's blood, means through the blood relation, or woman's father, son, brother, uncle, or nephew, or it is through breast feeding, that is the husband or the son of the woman who breastfed her when she was little, or it is through her in-laws, such as the husband's father or his son from another marriage. They are considered as mahram. The mahram with whom she is traveling is sane. Make sure the person is normal, over the age of puberty, and not a transgressor, not a fasir or treacher. When leaving for the Hajj, the woman must not be in the state of iddah, waiting period, on account of being divorced or her husband dying. The person should not be imprisoned or held captive. If any of these conditions are not met, then it is not obligatory to perform the Hajj. So let's talk about the month of Hajj. What are the month of Hajj? Shawwal, Zulqa'dah, Zulhijjah. They are the months of Hajj. But the days of Hajj are all in the 12 months. 12th month, which is Zulhijjah. 8th Zulhijjah, that's called Yawm al-Tarabiyah. The 9th, Yawm al-Arafah. And 10th is Yawm al-Nahr. And 11, 12, 13. They are the days of Tashriq, Ayyam al-Tashriq. These are the days of Hajj. Months of Hajj, it's just estimated days that I come up with, but it can change. Zulqa'dah starts from July 4th, and Zulhijjah August 2nd, which is going to be a Friday. It might go a little bit off. And days of Hajj, and these are the timings for the Fajr, sunrise, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, which I got it from some sources. So these are the timings. This year on the night of Muzdalifah, middle of the night is at 1:18 p.m. According to Hanafi jurisprudence, the Isha is valid until before starting the Fajr. So the highlighted times have significance as related to the rituals of Hajj, as will be explained later on, like sunset, sunrise in the middle of the night. Most Hajj packages consisting of 3 periods: stay in Makkah, stay in Madinah. Hajj days are 18th through 13th of Zulhijjah. These are the days of Hajj. Your Hajj package will be a combination of those 3 periods depending on the sequential order. Makkah gets very crowded the week before the Hajj days, that is 1st to 7th of Zulhijjah, while Madinah become less busy. Fasting, whether in Makkah or Madinah during the first days of Zulhijjah is recommended, but not during the days of Hajj because of the physical effort required during those days. So it is not recommended because you need to walk a lot and there will be a lot of activities. If Makkah is your first stop, then you must assume ihram for Umrah before landing in Jeddah. Jeddah is beyond the miqat. Make the niyyah and say talbiyah when miqat is announced during the flight before landing in Jeddah, approximately 20 or 30 minutes. Inshallah, we'll be talking about the miqat. You need to have a pair of ihram, means the towels with you for your umrah before travel. You can buy a second one for your hajj from Makkah or Madinatul Munawwara, or wash and reuse the ones you use for umrah. Make sure you keep the ihram towels in your handbag. Do not put them in your luggage. Put on ihram towels in the last stopover airport of your trip before boarding your flight to Jeddah. It's extremely difficult to put on ihram towels in the airplane, with the exception of some airlines. These are just recommended information, those who are coming to Makkah. Okay, those who are starting from Medina, because I recommend this and that's how I practice. And if your first stop is Madinatul Munawwara, then you do not need to assume ihram on your way to Madinatul Munawwara. You can buy ihram towels from Madinatul Munawwara, which is recommended. Buy your own. Okay, do not ask them to or borrow from anyone. Your miqat for Umrah is al-Hulaifa. Those who are coming from Madinatul Munawwara, that's a boundary to enter in Makkatul Mukarramah. And before reaching to Abiyar Ali, we should be in the state of ihram. A policy of the Ministry of Hajj now requires all pilgrims, all Hujjaj, to leave Medina by the 5th of Zulhijjah. So leaving Medina on the 3rd or 4th or 5th of Zulhijjah. If Medina was your first stop, then you will assume ihram for Umrah that you perform upon arrival in Makkah. On the 8th of Zulhijjah, you assume ihram for Hajj from your place of residence in Makkah, those who are living there. If Makkah was your first stop and you already performed an Umrah, then you have the following options. Assume ihram for Hajj from Dhul Hulaifa. However, in this case, you will be in a state of ihram for a longer time, which may involve some hardship for some people in particular. Alternatively, assume ihram for a second Umrah that you complete upon arrival in Makkah, and then assume ihram for Hajj on the 8th from your residence in Makkah. Okay, where is it located? Geography of Hajj. Mawaqeet. Mawaqeet is the plural of miqat, which is the boundaries. Let's talk about Mawaqeet. I just mentioned that Mawaqeet is the plural of miqat, the geographical boundary that a person heading to Makkah and intending Hajj or Umrah may not cross without assuming ihram for Hajj or Umrah, or both. A Muslim intending Hajj or Umrah who crosses the miqat without ihram must return to miqat and make ihram from there. If the person does not return and make ihram from the miqat, then he must offer an animal sacrifice as an expiation, which is called fidya. We will be talking about the jinayat, that means penalties later. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhum reported that Allah's Messenger, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, made Dhul Hulaifa as the miqat for the people of Medina, al-Juhfa for the people of Sham, Qarn al-Manazil for the people of Najd, which is Riyadh now, and Yalamlam for the people of Yemen. And these Mawaqeet are for the people of at those very places, and beside them are for those who come through those places with the intention of performing Hajj and Umrah. And whoever is living within the boundaries can assume ihram from the place he starts, and the people of Makkah can assume ihram from Makkah. So these are the guidelines given by the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Sayyidina Abu Zubair heard Sayyidina Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari radiallahu ta'ala anhuma as saying, I heard and I think he carried it directly to the messenger of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, him saying, for the people of Medina, Dhul Hulaifa is the place for entering upon the state of Ihram, and for the people coming through the other way, that is Syria, it is Al-Juhfa from the people of Iraq, it is Dhat Irq, which is for the people of Najd, it is Qarn al-Manazil, and for the people of Yemen, it is Yalamlam. Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrated, when these two towns, Basra and Kufa, were opened, the people went to Umar and said, O chief of the faithful believers, Ya Amir al-Mu'minin, the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam fixed Qarn as the miqat for the people of Najd. It is beyond our way and it is difficult for us to pass through it. He said, Take as your miqat a place situated opposite to Qarn on your usual way. So he fixed Zat al-Irq as their some information. This is the world map, okay? You know where north is, south is, east and west. These are the boundaries of these are the boundaries which you can see here. Anyway, the dotted line is the illustration only and does not necessarily show the exact limits of the Mawaqeet area. However, the Mawaqeet locations shown are accurate. This is how lined up. Okay, here's Makkah, al-Mukarramah, and this is Madinah al-Munawwara. Those who are coming from Medina, they should be in the state of Ihram from this area. This is the boundary for them, and whatever inside this that's called Haram anyway. And then Al-Juhfa coming from North Africa, Syria, USA, which is 116 miles northwest of Makkah, which is in Rabiq, which is called Al-Juhfa, and this is the boundary for the people who are coming from these areas. And Qarn al-Manazil coming from Najd, that is UAE, or from other places. Qarn al-Manazil is a valley. The northern part is called As-Sail al-Kabir, and the southern part is called Wadi al-Mahram. The distance between the two is about 32 kilometers. And Yalamlam, those who are coming from India, Yemen, and its other name is called Saadiya. And the Iraq is those who are coming from Iraq, and other name is al-Darib. So those are the boundaries that we talk about. The Haram of Makkah is the sanctified area surrounding Makkah. It was delimited by Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. After the victory of Makkah, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam sent Tamim ibn Asad al-Khuzai to renew the boundaries of Haram. This was the great milestone. So what happened was flags have been put on the mountains and hills to indicate the limits of the Haram. So the number of flags reached 943 at some point. The most of them were ruined. New flags have been added by recent committees to reach about 1100 and more. Area of Haram is 550 kilometers, which is 212 miles. Perimeter is of the Haram is 127 kilometers, which is 79 miles. And here is just a map of Makkah. As you can see, it's Masjid al-Haram. Just for the information, as you can see, uh, that's the Masjid al-Haram, and whatever inside this red lines are called Haram. Everything here is Haram, whatever is called Haram. And this is called City of Makkah. Some of them comes into Haram and some are outside of the boundaries of Haram. And here we go, that's Mina, and that's Muzdalifah, and that's Arafah, and to Jeddah, that's the area. And then north, going towards Madinah. And here the limits of Haram of Makkah, as you can see, the boundaries and their names, Tanaim, and all the information, whether you need it or not, but just for the information, you can take a screenshot of this. And this is the boundary. As when we enter, we see this end of Haram of boundary, and then the starting of that. Okay, this is one of the beautiful moments when we enter in Haram. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna alladhina kafaru yasudduna an sabilillahi wal masjidil haram alladhi ja'alnahu lin-nasi sawa'al akif fihi wal bad wa man yurid fihi bil hadim bil dhulmin nudhiquhu min adhabin alim. Allahu Akbar. Surely those who disbelieve and hinder others from the path of Allah and this sacred mosque, the Kaabatullah, which we have made equal for all the people. So there is no discrimination here. Allahu Akbar. In it, between its inhabitants and the visitors, and he who resolves in it to deviate unjustly, means through transgression the appointed limits and violate the rights, we shall make him taste grievous torment. Billah. May Allah protect us. So in the Haram of Makkah, the good deeds are multiplied and earns much higher reward. However, the severity of sin is much greater than elsewhere, to the extent that evil intention incurs a painful punishment. So try to be very, very careful when we are in the boundaries of Haram. This also applies to anyone while in the Haram of Makkah, whether a resident or visitor or one performing Umrah or Hajj. That applies to everyone. So we must be very, very careful, because Hajj, Allahu Akbar. And let's talk about restriction while in the Haram of Makkah. These are very important. Many people, they don't give much importance, but they should learn about this one before we are going. Entering the Haram of Makkah. The plants must be respected and must not be cut. Only there are some, if there is a need, then we can cut, but especially those who are visiting must not do that. And its game, like the animals, must not be frightened. Allahu Akbar. Articles lost in it must not be picked up except by someone making announcement to find the owner. Nor is any man to bear arms for fighting in it. We must be very careful. The above part of hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These restrictions apply to the Haram of Madinah as well. They apply to everyone, whether in a state of ihram or not, during any time of the year. When we are in the Haram of Makkah or Madinah, we must be very careful and avoid to invite the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a beautiful picture, subhanallah. We must treat the animals and everyone equally. We must respect them. Do not be unjustful to them. Okay, let's talk about again talking about the Mawaqeet and Haram of Makkah. And this is Masjid al-Haram and Haram of Makkah, and we see which is covered with red lines, and those are the names of the boundaries. One is called Jirana, Naqla, Arafah, Adan, Libn, and Hudaybiyah, Tan'im. Those who are coming into, those are the boundaries for coming into Haram of Makkah. Okay, impact on Ihram for Hajj and Umrah. From where? The location from where a pilgrim initiates a journey for Hajj or Umrah will determine whether he or she is required to assume Ihram. This will be detailed later in the Hajj and Umrah procedure, and anyone can ask the scholar. Haji means the pilgrim coming from outside, which is Africa, Europe, Madinah, and others, is called Afaqi. Anyone who is from outside. A pilgrim who is within the Mawaqeet limits but outside the Haram of Makkah, like Jeddah, is called Miqati. Just for the information, a pilgrim who is inside the Haram of Makkah is called Makki. And let's talk about some definitions of Hajj and Umrah for Al-Masjid al-Haram, the masjid surrounding the Kaaba. It is commonly called al-Haram, but that is not accurate, as the Haram refers to the entire Haram of Makkah, as we just saw the pictures. Pillar, Rukna, a compulsory act of Hajj, such as standing in Arafah, the lack of which invalidates the Hajj. Hajj has 4 pillars and Umrah has 3, which we will talk inshallah. Obligatory acts of Hajj, a mandatory of Hajj, such as stoning of the Jamarat, which if missed for any reason, then a fidya is required as an expiation. Hajj has 7 obligatory acts and Umrah has 2. Inshallah, we'll talk about that one. And the Sunnah, which is desirable of act of Hajj than a pillar or an obligatory act. There are many Sunnah in Hajj and Umrah. And talk about the ritual of Hajj, which is called Manasik, such as Tawaf and Sa'i. Plural is Manasik. Mansak is the singular. Hadi, animal sacrifice for performing Tamattu or Qiran. And I highly recommend Tamattu. Those who are staying in Makkah after performing Umrah, we'll talk about that. Let's not jump into that. Shout. Shout means one circuit of Tawaf around the Kaaba, or one lap of Sa'i between Safa and Marwa is called Shout, and plural is Ashwat. Tawaf means circumambulation around the Kaaba 7 times. Each circuit is called Shout. Tawaf is a plural of Hajj. Tawaf is a ritual of Hajj and Umrah, but can also be performed as a separate voluntary ibadah called Nafil Tawaf, voluntary Tawaf. There are several kinds of Tawaf. So 7 Shout is equals to 1 Tawaf. It means 7 circuits or 7 circumambulation around the Kaaba. Sa'i, walking between Safa and Marwa 7 times. Each lap is called Shout. Sa'i is a pillar of a Hajj and Umrah. Ihram, the state of ritual consecration or the ceremonial state of starting Umrah or Hajj. Prohibition of Ihram, which is Mahzurat ihram. All acts a person in a state of ihram is prohibited from doing. Fidya is a compensatory act for missing any obligatory act, wajib, or violating a restriction of ihram. That's one of the expiation, a penalty, you can call it. Fidya is the fasting of 3 days, feeding of 6 needy people, or an animal sacrifice. It is when you are missing a wajib, then it requires an animal to be sacrificed, or whatever is mentioned there, like 3 days of fasting, feeding of 6 needy people, or any animal. Kinds of Hajj. There are 3 types of Hajj. Number 1, Tamattu. Umrah, then Hajj during the months of Hajj. Any person who enters with the intention of Hajj, like say in Zulqa'dah or Shawwal, or who has to stay in Makkah, then it is highly recommended. If like anyone who is coming in the beginning of Zulhijjah, they can perform and then they can take the ihram out. We'll talk about this one. And the pilgrim called Mutamatti' requires hadi, means animal sacrifice. We'll talk about this. So it's a combination. It is Umrah and then Hajj. So this is highly recommended, and this is what Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also recommended, although he has done Qiran. This is combining Umrah and Hajj during the month of Hajj with one ihram. Pilgrims call Qarin requires hadi animal, which is like Hajj and Umrah together. It's a combination. Ifrad, Hajj only during the month of Hajj. Pilgrim called Mufrid does not require hadi. Just a Hajj, no Umrah is required for this one. So the highly recommended is the one which I have been doing is Tamattu. Those who are not staying in Makkah al-Mukarramah, like Hajj days starts from 8th of Zulhijjah and they are arriving there on 7th, then they can make a Umrah and then make a tawaf of Qudum after that, and then they can head towards Mina. Those who are coming before that, it is highly recommended to do the Hajj Tamattu. The Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam commanded his companions, Sahaba, to do Tamattu even though he did Qiran, because he brought Hadi with him. He has to go directly after Umrah to Mina. And let's talk about general rule. Sayyidina Jabir radiallahu ta'ala anhum narrated that Sayyidina Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu tabarak wa ta'ala anha, the blessed mother of the believers, the wife of the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, accompanied him, that is the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to Makkah while she got her menses. The Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam commanded her to perform all the manasik, the rituals of Hajj, except tawaf and salat until she gets clean. Let's talk about the traveling. Double check necessary items to take. Use a checklist, passport, official residency documents like a green card and others, vaccination record. This is usually stapled to your passport. Bank drafts of the Hajj fees. This is usually stapled to your passport, money, credit card, phone numbers and addresses of your Hajj operator, hotels in Makkah, Medina, and Jeddah. These are very important stuff. We should have it with us. Keep at least a set of clothes in your carry-on bag in case your luggage does not make it to the Jeddah or Medina airport, because many times it happens and people are without the clothes, means like whatever they are wearing. So it's better to have something in your hand carry luggage. And US travelers, especially if your itinerary includes a domestic stopover before you fly to Jeddah, recuperate your luggage and check it again yourself. Luggage that stays behind is quite common incident. So don't get overwhelmed with that one. Leave early for the airport always and pray 2 rakats at home before you leave. This is a sunnah that's called Salatul Safar, and pray the supplicate, recite the supplication that our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to recite. Greet your family and friends with dua from the sunnah. Recite dua for travel once you get in the car and leave the house. And this is one of the beautiful dua that you can take a screenshot. Our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say that Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, how perfect he is. It means Subhanallah, and then سبحان الذي سخر لنا هذا وما كنا له مقرنين وإنا إلى ربنا لمنقلبون اللهم إنا نسألك في سفرنا هذا البر والتقوى ومن العمل ما ترضى اللهم هون علينا سفرنا هذا واتبع عنا بعده اللهم أنت الصاحب في السفر والخليفة في الأهل اللهم إني أعوذ بك من بعثاء السفر وكآبة المنظر وسوء المنقلب في المال والأهل والبلد. And when you come back after Hajj, recite this Aibuna, Taibuna, Abidun, Lirabbina Hamidun. So the meaning of that one is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. How perfect He is, the one who has placed this transport at our service, and we ourselves would not have been capable of that. And to your Lord is our final destiny. O Allah, we ask you for righteousness and watchfulness in this journey of ours, and we ask you for deeds which pleases you. O Allah, facilitate our journey and let us cover its distance quickly. O Allah, you are the companion of the journey and the successor over the family. O Allah, I take refuge in you from the difficulties of travel, from having a change of hearts and being in a bad predicament, and I take refuge in you from all ill-fated outcome with wealth and family. And on return, our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to utter these supplication. We are returning, repentant, worshipping our Lord and praising Him. Subhanallah. This is arriving in Jeddah. You will have assumed ihram before arriving in Jeddah if Makkah is your first destination. First, you go through the customs, immigration, just simple information, okay, and then wait for a bus of the Hajj Ministry Transportation Service to take you to Makkah. Perform your salat on time with Jama'ah, which is highly recommended. Jeddah will be a first test for your patience. The wait time in Hajj terminals can be about 2 hours or more than that. When I first I did, I had to wait for almost 8 hours. But no complaint of stuff, but just prepare yourself if you are coming from Jeddah. And show patience and be nice to the airport staff and everyone. This is a good opportunity to get to know some people in your group. Talk to them, be nice to everyone. So this is the end of the